I just want every man and woman to experience the love that I wish my parents could have had,
Mm.
right? And call it a trauma response or call it like alchemy, whatever the fuck you want to call it. At the end of the day, like God has them. Like God knows what he's doing with them, and they're on a perfect trajectory and a perfect story. But that doesn't change the fact that for me, and not from a place of overcompensation, but from a place of possibility.
Mm.
Now that I have pierced the veil and I can see, oh wait, Ty Lopez, dollars for hours? No, there's a whole world out there. In the same respect with relationships, men, women, masculinity, femininity, the dance between the two, what is available for men in relationship without being an asshole, without being a whiny little bitch, right?
Hmm.
is is what you have, right? And I like unconsciously vowed to find the secret, to find the key of what would have made my parents happy together.
Gentlemen, we are back. This is Rebel Sage Radio. I am your host, Max Warren. This is the place for real, raw, unfiltered conversations for men. Let's get started. Guys, I I love every interview I do, and I have the privilege of being on the mic. And today is unique for me. I have my very good friend, a man who has been a coach and continues to coach me. He's a good brother, a mentor, a man who speaks truth and leans in and lives his truth. And love this man, appreciate this man, and I think you guys have a real treat to learn from none other than Richard, the Lionheart Lonsberry. Uh, Rich, it's good to see you, brother. I'm so glad to have you here, and I'm excited for this conversation.
Thanks, man. I know that that's what you say to all the girls, but you know what? Today you really know how to set the table for one. I feel like a total baddie with a fatty right now. Thank you.
I love you. I do. I love you.
I do. I do. You never call me. You never call me, but I love you.
I love you. So we were talking just beforehand, and one of the things we were kicking around is Um, I love the origin story because I think that a lot of the guys I know are superheroes in my book. But it
Yeah.
made more sense, I think, after just kicking it around to start a little bit like talk to us about where you are in the world and where you are in life, and then give us that backstory of how did you get to where you are. I'm
Mm,
really curious. I mean, and bro, start wherever. What's on top for you? What feels significant and
yeah.
important? Because it is unscripted, it is unfiltered, it is raw, real, and it's meant for
Yeah.
guys that want to grow. So have at it, bro.
So first of all, and on a real note, like I'm very, very honored to be here and to be of service. Arnold Schwarzenegger in his book Total Recall, he has like 10 rules for success. And if there's anybody that you need to listen to in life on how to make your dreams happen, it's that guy, right?
Right.
So one of his rules was simply and I was like, Google translate this for me. And I was like, translating to be useful.
Mm,
And and that was one of his rules for success, be useful.
wow.
And I'm very, very excited to be here today and to leverage this conversation in hopes of serving the guy on the other side of it, because I was the guy on the other side of it, right? I was the guy who would just not stop listening to podcasts of men who have things that I want. And one of the things I have found working with men now for the last 6 years, men are inherently generous,
Mm,
especially men that have reached some semblance of success in their lives. You talk to a dude who's shredded, who has a good attitude at the gym, he'll give you the shirt off his back and he'll teach you everything he knows, right? Like he just gives. And there's something that I have found that's fundamental to our genetic as well as our spiritual blueprint as men, that we are happiest when in the giving role,
I love that.
right? And that's, we're going to dance on polarity and like masculine leadership and attraction and stuff like that, but like it's it feels so good to be in that role. And I honestly can't wait for, whoever listens to be like, whether it's what I say, whether it's what you say, whatever we create here, it's going to
Yeah.
be like, that's what I needed to
Mhm.
hear.
Beautiful.
Right. And so if we're going to get raw, I'm going to go to what's most alive in my heart right now, actually, with respect to where I'm at. Where I'm currently at right now is I'm at the super alpha location, my mom's bedroom, because uh, I'm visiting. Right, I'm visiting my parents. They get to see their grandkids, and my dad just got back surgery. Right, and so I'm here to help out a little bit. And it's a different experience when you're 35 and you're in your parents' house and you don't need money. Like you're the one with it,
Yeah.
right? Like I made 20K in sales in May, and they're like, "Papi, what did you do? What did you do? Are you giving away that free therapy on the internet? ¿Qué estás haciendo?" Right? It's like, yeah, mom, I'm giving away the free therapy on the internet. That's what I'm on the Facebook, right? So, but like, it's like, hey guys, by the way, just like, that little business thing that the black sheep of the family has created, well, it's turning a profit. You know what I mean? Like I'm averaging like 8 to 20K per month in sales, right? And I'm providing for my family. And this is the guy that everyone was worried about, and still are sometimes, you know what I mean? Because I'm the baby boy. But I'm here in my mom's room, right? Like it's nice and quiet, and I'm back home. I'm surrounded by all of my childhood things, and I'm cooking myself. Listen, I set an intention for this call. I ate red meat to prepare for this podcast. Okay, let me tell you
Oh,
something.
yes. That's a serious.
I'm committed to you. Like
That's right.
this is like
That's
this
right.
is for men. I need protein, but
This cow is going to die for a good cause.
you're fucking welcome, listener. But the things that I do for you. But I'm cooking. I'm cooking my steak. And my dad, he just had back surgery. He's moving a lot slower. Everything hurts, right? And he's got the walker, and it's very emotional, very big, very. And he comes into the kitchen and he needs something at the time where I'm doing something. Okay? And I'm going somewhere with this. I didn't consciously do this, but I immediately felt myself panicking. I felt myself anxious again. This curl, like this, a lot of tension in my spine, and there was this, right, like this, and I was like, "What is that all about?" And then it reminded me of throughout my entire childhood. And mind you, I love this man. We're completely clean. I begrudge him nothing. Right? This is a man and a child of God who came here to bless my life and just give it to me. He did his job when he created me.
Yeah.
But I'm reminded of how during my childhood, when dad was around, we had to get the fuck out of the way, right? We
Yes.
had to get the fuck out of the way. And anything he asked us to do, we had to do it right.
Mm.
Right? We had to do it right. Otherwise, it's can you just, oh my God, right? Here, I'll do it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And now it was like my body recognized that lack of safety in the presence of this man whom I love. And I'm 35 and I'm like lost 13 pounds. I got fucking biceps now, you know what I mean? I'm 6'2", right? I'm
Yeah.
243, you know? and I've gotten punched in the face before, so I'm not afraid of that, right? And so I'm just saying, like, I'm younger, I can move, I have mobility, right? I'm the healthiest I've ever been in my entire life, da 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 da. And my dad's slower, but just his presence reminded my little boy, my inner child, that he was unsafe around his presence. And so I found myself being really intentional and just like really like, okay, what am I doing? What am I doing with my hands? And am I cooking this? And I was like, how do I get the fuck out of the way as fast as possible? And it was so, and this isn't something that, a professional men's coach may want to admit, right? On a podcast with a bunch of winners. But that is my superpower, right? It is going into hey, here's my bleeding heart. And I
Yeah.
want you to take something from this for you. So with respect to where I am now, I cried. I had a really good cry. I had a really good cathartic experience because my heart went out to him because nothing he's doing is trying to get me to feel unsafe. My body just remembered and associated with the memory, right? Like that's all subconscious stuff. And and I just had so much compassion for him. I'm like, you're almost 80 years old. Your back barely works. You miss walking and going to Planet Fitness, and like using the elliptical for an hour every day and going to the meeting, da, 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 da. And my heart went out to him. And then I also found myself be so grateful. I'm so grateful because my children don't feel this in my presence.
Wow.
And out of all the flexes I can ever have, and I've had some pretty incredible I've lived a life. I'm very grateful for all of it. But the thing that I can honestly say right now with you that I'm most proud of is that my son doesn't get a panic attack because dad's home. Right. And the journey to get there was Dante, bro. Right. Like it
Yeah.
was several layers of hell. And and the truth of the matter is like what I found anyways to be true in my experience is that the greatest hell that a man will ever, you know, experience, right, is not experiencing himself, not knowing what it is that he's made of, right? It's unrealized potential.
Yes.
And I refuse to die full of potential, right? I choose to die completely empty. And I choose to die with my legacy being I have created men, I've helped create men, kings,
Mhm.
restored men who do not make their children feel how I felt around my father.
Wow. It's a hell of a legacy.
Yeah. And you're a part of it.
Oh, absolutely. And I was thinking about, as you were talking, how many times I heard my mother say, "Wait till your father gets home." And I was terrified of that man.
Yeah.
I spent a year living at dad's after mom died. And I remember how rocky it was initially, and I was expecting this guy that I grew up with. Um, and we had to find our footing because I was trained the same way. I was trained exactly the same way in a very and my body remembers somatically. Um, I remember answering yes, sir, just on a
Yeah.
on a drop because he would yell for me from the garage, and I'm kind of like, what is that about? But it's all on autopilot, It's all on autopilot. So there's
Yeah.
not you're not even conscious of it, and you're like, the hell am I doing? But yeah, the the child remembers. Um, as you're as you're looking at how things have shaped your philosophy, bro, and we touched on faith a little bit, and I'd love you to speak to that and speak a little bit
Yeah.
to the journey, what you feel like is is important and salient. And I know it's interesting too because our relationship's been instrumental in the way that you've impacted me and
Mm,
the way that I am showing up in my life. We
yeah,
I was separated from my wife for a year and we divorce was on the table. This was not a this it was an amicable separation, but it was very clear it only had one end, which was divorce. And
yep.
you helped me work with a whole letter to my mother and just held space while I
Mm,
sat there writing on that call. And I'm like, you're like, you need to write the letter. And I'm like, I'm gonna. You're like, no, I'm gonna hang on. Go get a paper and get a pen. We're gonna do this now. And I'm like, shit, okay,
yeah.
well now this is happening. And then I said,
Mm,
when I got to the grave, you were like, text me, call me, let me know if you need me. I'll be on standby, and I was able to text you
yeah.
and go through the whole process with my mom, which was really this massive beginning of healing with the feminine for me. And then we
Yeah.
had an amazing, you brought in this beautiful um, coach, a woman who held the space as the high priestess. And basically,
Yeah.
no holds barred. We just start talking to Savannah. Like, what do you need to say? What do you need to unload? What do you need to confess? And nobody went. And I was like, well, fuck it. If nobody else is going to go, I'm going to jump in and take advantage of the space. And so you've
Yeah.
been along this whole journey, and the end state is I came back to North Carolina to stay with my ex for a very short period of time, with the end state of let me get in and get out of this girl's hair because she's trying to get on with her life and I'm trying to get on with my life. We ended up
Yeah.
talking. We ended up going on a date, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, Rich. So here's what's up. I think we got a think we got a second chance here, bro. And it's amazing because it's
Mm,
what's beautiful is you and I have walked out that whole year plus together of me
yeah.
healing the feminine and you giving me guidance and pointers along the way. And I was blessed and pissed when you sent me the message. You're like, hey, this prayer is a prayer I want you to pray every day, and I want you to be a man in preparation for the feminine. And this is
Mm,
I want you to be consecrated. And I'm like, I this is a fucking tall order. Like this is a legit taking up some responsibility and growing a set and being a real man to own my sexual energy, to own not, to really take women off the table and become somebody that's being prepared so that and the
yeah.
whole idea was when love arrives, I can fully hold her. And that was really the impetus. And the first thing that my wife said to me when I got back is, I feel so relaxed in your energy, it throws me. I'm so drawn to you
Mm,
and so relaxed, it throws me. So
yeah.
um, that's been, you know, keeping it real. I mean, that's a powerful outcome for me. My daughter is like, you're different, and it even, you know, goofball hashtag familiar. We talked about this. My wife is like, it's new, it's familiar. I'm like, it's familiar. We look like the people we used to know. And she's worked really hard on herself over that time,
Yeah.
but bro, just I I want to be clear, like our relationship comes from and flows out of your work in the world and your real-time support in the trenches with me through this last year that's led to this amazing outcome. So that's an
Mm,
important part of the story to just throw out there. So the guys that are listening are like, this isn't it's not staged, it's not contrived.
yeah.
You are the fucking man when it comes to understanding relationships and helping men sometimes have to take radical steps to recover themselves. And I think that
Yeah.
Restored Man is a testimony to that. But it speaks to your story, bro, of how you did that for yourself. And I'm curious, what's your sense of I'm sort of explaining my story, but I'm curious, like, what do you hear in that? And how about your own story? Like, how did you get to be this guy to facilitate that sort of a process for another?
First, I'm like, I'm gonna gush. I'm gonna gush over my baby boy. Oh my God. Yeah, he may be like, 15, 20 years older. I don't care. Let me talk. Um, I have been, just so you know, I've been parading you around my entire social media and just like with every human being that I talk to, right? And like wifey, she's so funny. Like Liv has been with me since like I sucked at this, okay? Like we've been together 11 years. I've been coaching for 6. So, she knew me back when my one corporate experience was pizza delivery expert at Domino's Pizza, right? Like, my my job before professional life coaching was pizza delivery. So all the School of Hard Knocks is the thing that certified my ass. It wasn't like
Yeah.
brain smarts. Okay. It wasn't smart good, but um I had been gushing about you and about oh, and about D and the dynamic,
Mm.
about the dynamic. And the reason why isn't just because I'm like I take 100% credit for everything good that happens to you, but it's also but it's also like let me put it through the entrepreneur lens for a second,
Go for it.
right? So I'm working Domino's Pizza. I'm 25, 26 years old. I
Hmm.
have kids now. I'm angry. I'm completely lost, right? Like my model of the world is, oh, you have kids. The first thing my parents told me is your life is over,
Ouch.
right? And it's like, and I know what they meant. They meant, Richie, you were a Broadway star being trained by some of the greatest minds in history, in television, in film, right? You're a triple threat. You have personality for days. You're the most charming thing never walked the earth. You can sing, dance, write, act, play, like all these things, right?
Right.
And then I find that, I start dating the single mom. I fall in love with her son. And I'm just like, how do I spend more time with this little bastard without going to jail? Oh, okay. Let me, right? Let me date the mom, right? And I'm just like, and then well, one thing leads to another. Our first date ends up being like Italian food in the Lego movie and the Exit 26, in a 1996 Honda Civic. And oops, right, I did it again, right? And um, so I'm like in my mid 20s, I'm delivering pizza, and my understanding of life, of the world, of money, of provision, all the things. My blueprint in reality was it's over. Like I'm 25, 26. Like all that's left now, all I can hope for is be a general manager of Domino's,
Right. Right.
right? Or I can maybe own a store, maybe something when I'm 60, right?
Mhm.
I could not see further, and this is important because it goes right back to you and your relationship. I could not see further than Domino's Pizza. Okay.
Yeah.
And I knew that rich people existed, right? I know that success and wealth existed, like conceptually, like on a conscious level, I understood there are people who have, and there are people who have not. And I know where I am, right? And then I see Ty Lopez in that fucking Lamborghini, like rolling up, and he shows a bunch of boobies and shows a bunch of books and he shows a bunch of cars and Bugattis. I'm like, hey, read books, get boobies and Bugattis. Oh my God. Oh. Right, and then wait a minute. Something punctured my paradigm.
Hmm.
Something just messed with the way that I see the world. Are you telling me that I don't have to get paid hourly? You mean I can get paid in proportion to the amount of value I bring into the world? Right? And and I'm like, okay, now I'm red pilling myself out of the matrix. Now I'm just like, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Have I not been told everything? Right? And then I start spending time with people who don't trade time for money. In fact, they create assets. In fact, why? Because they see what I couldn't see. And then finally, when they pointed to, hey, if you create something and you can leverage the internet to sell it over and over and over again, you're ending up making money without being in the room or having to tap dance for it or having to deliver a pizza for it, right? Now, what do I have? My framework expanded and I could see beyond dominoes. This led to me getting a professional certification for John Maxwell for becoming a life coach, professional trainer, speaker on personal development, leadership, and now ultimately masculine leadership and relationship, right? Now I get paid in proportion to the kinds of problems I solve. And so I say this not as a flex, but I want you guys to understand, because you know my story, but I want you guys to understand, like I made $25,000 a year.
Yeah.
Okay. I made 25K a year delivering pizza because that's really all I could see. That's all I thought that was available to me. In May, I made like I don't know if it's 90%. I don't fucking know math. I can count, not coach, but I made 20K in 1 month, right? You know what I'm saying? And it's like I'm just 5K short of my yearly income from having a job.
Yeah. Which the crazy thing is that what changed is your understanding of yourself and your paradigm around economics and going from trading hours for dollars to recognizing impact and value can create so much more for someone and they're willing to pay for that. That
Yeah.
there's another way of being in the world, a relationship to money that is not it's not off limits. It's just the shift that took place for you. That's beautiful.
Mhm.
That's beautiful. Oh,
Now, to bring it back to you, because as much as this is about me, right? To
right.
bring it back to you, right? Most men will hear you talk about your relationship and they'll go, "What the fuck does he mean by that?"
Mm-hmm.
I can't see beyond Domino's Pizza. I see like we're fighting all the time. This bitch doesn't want me. My kids don't respect me.
Mm-hmm.
I work my ass off and I'm not appreciated, right? Like, and Father's Day is one of the most depressing, holidays of the year for me because I just like want a blowjob and just a bologna sandwich. You can't even get that, right? And here you are, right? And it's like, hey, no, that was like Monday. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
wait, are you saying blowjobs and bologna sandwiches are like just they can be a normalized part of my relationship? You mean that like a woman can just like get soaked just with me being in her presence and
Mhm.
she wants to have sex with me, she wants to be around me. So
Yes.
it's almost like we're speaking a completely different language, right? Yeah, like you're Ty Lopez going in front of Richard, being like, "Hey, there's more to the story. There's more available to you. You got more in you." And so that's what I wanted to dance with is that when I tell men that when you take responsibility for your life on the inside, your inner world, your mindset, your way of being, right? When you connect at a soul level with yourself, okay, you can stop trading hours for dollars. And you can start shifting over to that different way of being, in that you get paid in proportion of the problems you solve and the impact that you have in the world. But it's different, right? Because, yeah, you make more money because you become more abundant, but you become what we talked about at the beginning of this call, safe.
Absolutely.
And men don't even, like, God bless us, we don't understand what that means,
No. No, because
right? And so,
the manual,
good.
I was just going to say, not to cut you off, but the manual was never passed to us by our fathers. We've talked about the kind of men our dads were, and like you said, and I'll say, I love my father. I have deep respect for him. And we were just talking about this the other day. Our parents, our fathers in particular, did not have the tools do not sit in the rooms that we sit in, have not read the books that we've read. They don't have the
Yeah.
worldview that we have. But they gave us so much from what they could. But to me, the playbook is the thing that guys are missing.
Yeah.
And yes, you don't have to be the guy that's begging to have a blowjob and a bologna sandwich. Living at that relational economy is poverty. It's poverty.
Yeah.
But when you become an abundant man and you do the work on the inside, you can pretty much, and it sounds cocky, it sounds arrogant, but I've got proof in my relationship. You can almost write your own ticket. It
Yeah.
is as close to a blank check as it comes. Now, does that mean you don't invest in her? No. Does that mean she's at your beck and call? Of course not. She's a sovereign woman. She's a living soul.
Yeah.
But what it does mean is that there's a whole nother way to play the game and be in your body, be on the interior. That where you were
Yeah.
the path you're taking us down. That it changes things and it shifts from barely getting by and feeling like you hate life and you hate being the man that is married and has kids and the weight of the responsibility is soul sucking to you happily embrace that and you crush it and your woman will follow you and your kids will respect you and you don't have to beg for it or tyrannically demand it either, you know,
Yeah.
like a whiny high chair tyrant child, you will respect me, and everyone's
Yeah.
looking at you like we can't wait till you either leave or go to bed so that we have relief. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. That's that's the paradigm shift that I hope that every like I'm gonna go another layer raw. And again, not to overly qualify, but I do want to stress that I absolutely love my parents. And now I see them and I see their story, I see their dynamic as a gift and as a reference point,
Mm,
right? And as a way of understanding what motivates and motivated me. At the end of the day, I just want every man and woman to experience the love that I wish my parents could have had,
mm,
right? And call it a trauma response or call it like alchemy, whatever the fuck you want to call it. At the end of the day, like God has them. Like God knows what he's doing with them, and they're on a perfect trajectory and a perfect story. But that doesn't change the fact that for me, and not from a place of overcompensation, but from a place of possibility.
mm,
Now that I have pierced the veil and I can see, oh, wait, Ty Lopez, dollars for hours? No, there's a whole world out there. In the same respect with relationships, men, women, masculinity, femininity, the dance between the two, what is available for men in relationship without being an asshole, without being a whiny little bitch, right?
mhm.
is is what you have, right? And I like unconsciously vowed to find the secret, to find the key of what would have made my parents happy
Mm,
together, right? And at the end of the day, uh, God is hilarious because God's like, all right, motherfucker, I'm going to show you, and I'll show you. Are you sure? Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. Okay, you asked for this. But don't come crying to me. Yes, come crying to me, but don't fucking, you know what I'm saying? You know what the fuck I mean.
yeah.
Right. By the way, God is hilarious in my head. So, like, not for nothing, but God can be a hilarious dick. So, what does God do? Right? What does God do? Shows me through the avenue and the filter of making some super bad choices.
Mm,
I get with a super dysregulated, like drug addicted single mom who relapses on heroin after we have, two kids together. Now we have three kids living in one bedroom in Long Beach. And now I learn what happens when you live in fear as a man in your home.
Yeah.
When you betray your knowing, you betray your values, your integrity, your instincts, right?
Mhm.
Because we always know, I truly believe we always know what to do. You hear the story and you're like, wait a minute, hold on a second. Maybe shooting up heroin in the bathroom when there's children around isn't like the like the best course of action. Maybe it's not the healthiest dynamic. I mean, I'm right, but who was too much of a pansy to say no, to say stop? Me. So, not to get too in the weeds on that, but as a result, what happens? Extended family find out, they call child services. Child services comes banging on the door. Now, wifey, she came from foster care, right? Which to me is pretty much just MK Ultra, but like, sanctioned. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like life is hard for a foster kid in this country or in the world because the system itself is it to me it's like it's evil. It's evil, and I'm sure that the road to hell is paved with good intentions, but you and I both know the horror stories of what happens, like how many drug addicts are literally just kids that aged out of the system because they weren't chosen by other parents that had, you know what I'm saying, that
I
are
know
in no way
exactly what you're
responsible for, and we can that's a whole other episode though. That's like when we go deep with tinfoil hat.
saying. Yes.
But she comes from that. And here's the thing: she looks me in the face with all the conviction in the world. If our children get taken from us, they will go into foster care, get raped, and die. And my kids are, 6, 5, and 2 at the time,
Ugh.
right?
Yeah.
Like these are toddlers. And she looks at me and she's like, okay, yeah, no, I fucked up. I'm totally fine. I'm a heroin addict. I've totally screwed up some things. But if we lose these kids, then they will die. And now I'm torn between loyalty to my woman, right? And loyalty to my children. And like, I'm every decision I made, I thought I was making to be a good father. But the fact of the matter was that I was just afraid of everything, including my own shadow. Okay.
Yeah.
Going back to God is like, all right, man, I'm gonna show you what does it take to be happy in a relationship. Like, what did your parents need? Okay. This is a
Yes.
wonderful like context tool, by the way. Go me. High five. Anyways. So so we take off. We take off. Like 5 o'clock in the morning, we barely missed the cops. We barely missed the CPS officer, and we take off. We throw away 99.9% of our shit, throw it all inside of a Honda, including the kids. She goes to the methadone clinic, gets a shit ton of it. We take off from California, go hide over in the middle of the country. Okay. We're not criminal masterminds. I'm a musical theater major from, like New York, right? Turn, like, and a nice guy and wifey. Yeah, sure. She knows how to score some smack, but we're not like, we don't have it like that. You know what I mean? Fake
Right.
passports. I legitimately thought we were gonna like start a new life in Chicago. I'm like, you dumbass. So I'll fast forward, right? Fast forward. We get caught. I lose my kids. I lose custody of them.
Mhm.
I lose my home. I lose like my parents are stressed out of their fucking minds. They don't know where their kids are. They don't know where the grandkids are, right? Like all this. And so I literally lose everything. I end up, getting a case plan. If you want your fucking kids back, asshole, then get your shit together. Find a way of making money, get a home, then this woman is not allowed near them unless she's off of like heroin and methadone. And you find out why the fuck you even let this happen. Time for you to go to therapy. Time for you to find out why you let, right? A terrified, dysregulated, super traumatized woman who is only using heroin to cope with the pain inside of her heart, right? Why you let her run your family.
Ouch.
You got to
This,
grow up.
to be fair, this is God taking you up on your invitation, and this is the curriculum of walking all the way down into no shit, right? Like, I mean, walking all the
Yeah.
way down into rock bottom,
Mm.
stripped, and so to go from afraid of your own shadow to the Lionheart, this is an alchemical process. This is a deep transformational process that you went through as a man, coming from a
Yeah.
background of, I don't know. The way I see the world is I'm a pizza delivery guy. I'm in a, dude, this is powerful, man. It's powerful, powerful. So you become the living teaching, the embodiment of
Yeah.
these lessons.
And it's all connected. Your relationship, my rock bottom story, Ty Lopez, all of it, right? It's all it's all connected. And and so you're right, this is a wonderful framing device. So I may have to listen to this and be like, Jesus, this is good. I need to like this is my whole keynote forever, bro. Uh but so they give me this curriculum and basically you gotta man up. Like you gotta now I'm rock bottom. I'm homeless in a Nissan Sentra with my woman. And the world is shut down, right? Because of a bat, apparently, quote unquote, right? Somebody ate the head of a bat and like the world is all sick and we're all terrified, right?
Oh yeah.
DoorDash and Zoom become the two and Uber Eats become the three biggest corporations in the history of the world, right? And so um I have my work cut out for me. Well, you have to be a man. Well, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Right? Well, okay, I know what I did wrong. I know I've read a lot of spiritual books. I know that love is love. I know that we're all one at some level. I know that consciousness is awareness, and I know that, God is love and blah, 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 blah. I knew a bunch of spiritual principles that weren't embodied. I had a bunch of head knowledge and I
Mm,
wasn't implementing it. And and I was like, okay, well, what, how do I get my kids back? I got to find out what it means to be a man. That was my thinking. What does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be a father? What does it mean to be a husband? So what do? I find out. And I find out and it's nothing like what I had thought. Because my only reference, again, I love the man. My only reference was my dad, and my dad was go to AA because you don't want to be a raging alcoholic monster. Go work your ass off, come home, watch TV, take your kids camping, and make that a miserable trip every summer or something. Like, and he did try. He absolutely did. He did have his efforts, but he just wasn't able to connect to himself. That was it.
mm,
Right? And that's what I found. The biggest thing, a man's inability to sit in a room by himself and just shut up and be by himself, to be still and know that I am God. If you
mm.
can't do that, you can't do that for 5 minutes, you can't do that for 50 minutes, you can't do that for 5 hours, then you are going to be life's puppet, right? You're going to be a leaf in a hurricane.
Yes.
Always. And that was it. And I saw it. I was like, that was me reacting to every single thing. Just, nom, 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 just what's candy? Candy tastes good, nom, 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 right? Oh, okay. Just, uh, um, 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 oh, sex? Sex feels good. Hold on a second. Who am I having sex with? Doesn't matter. Feels good, right? It's just
Hmm.
dopamine, 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 dopamine. We just finished reading the fucking book, Dopamine
Yep.
Nation, right?
Yep.
I just went from what feels good and what get away from what feels bad. Go figure, I start to learn that my whole life I had been a taker. I've been taking and I've been trying to just constantly receive. It's like, what does life have for me? What does God have for me? What do my parents have for me? What does this woman have for me? Why aren't these kids making me happy? Right? Like, why are they making me more fulfilled? You know? And the shift that had to happen was boys, for better or worse, and it just makes sense now. Boys take until they are removed from the care of the mother and they're under dad's wing. Dad takes them. Here's how you shoot a deer. Here's how you get covered in fire ants and punched in the face, right? We're going to cleave. We're going to cut you off from the safety of the feminine. We're going to cut you off from the tip, right? And then we're going to beat the ever living shit out of you, and you're going to come back a warrior. Now you know how to take care of your woman. Now you know how to protect your kids.
Yes, sir.
And I was uninitiated.
This is a loaded,
Right?
loaded word. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I was uninitiated into my own masculinity. I was not responsible. And so when the judge is the greatest blessing to me. The judge's decision was like, get your shit together. Well, getting my shit together meant becoming a man. That was the greatest gift that has ever been given to me because that's where I dove straight into. As soon as it makes sense for me, I'm in, right? Okay, man up, find out what that means, and then get kids back. Got it. And that's where I've discovered, and I had mentors pouring into my life. Hey, men need to lead. Like Hitler? Like what? Like what? What do you mean? What do you mean lead? Like I'm a feminist. Right? I'm a softie. I'm a mama's boy. I love women. I love feelings. You can't, you bad boys with your fucking your motorcycles and your leather jackets and your making women feel angry. Right? Like and it's like, no, Richard, nobody's saying walk around and be like, bitch, suck a dick. Do what I say, right? Shine these shoes, you know? It's different.
Mm-hmm.
Leading is influence, like John Maxwell says. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And then you go back into the context of my time where wifey's shooting up in the bathroom and the kids are always late to school and there's food sporadically, right? And our finances are a mess. Leadership is to take responsibility for the outcomes that you want in your life. And yes, women can lead, women can do whatever the hell they want. Go to town, own your 8-figure business, right? Like make all the money you want, do whatever. Lead your heart's content. A lot of my earlier mentors were women and specialized in leadership. But when it came to my relationship, when it came to like a relationship where I wanted to experience the gifts of the masculine and the feminine, okay, leadership feels good in the masculine nervous system.
Yes.
Right? Leadership, and here's what happened. I had been a bitch, right? I wasn't leading. I was like, well, where's our money? I just know that I make money. I don't know where it goes. I just know that I eventually have to pay for things and hopefully make it to the end of the month. There was no vision, right? I didn't have an idea as to where I wanted us to go. I didn't have conviction. I had values, quote unquote, but I didn't have the conviction to live by them. So I couldn't do what? I couldn't set a boundary and be like, hey, sweetheart, I love you and you're hurting. And I take responsibility for, driving you to your dealer in the middle of the night because I needed you off my ass because I couldn't handle the stress of family life. I couldn't handle feeling like a shit father. I couldn't handle you not like sleeping all freaking day. Couldn't handle anything. I had no solutions. So I was a fundamental part of her relapsing. And I didn't have the balls to go, I'm going to help you get help. And if you don't get help, I still love you, but I'm taking these kids, I'm going over to stay with my mom, and we are going to find new avenues to make sure that these kids are safe, secure, and provided for. That's leadership.
Yes.
Right? Leadership without love is tyranny.
100%.
And that's what men do. So I go through the whole curriculum and I'm surrounded now by powerful men who lead their wives and lead their lives, out earn me a million to one,
Hmm.
right? Shredded, like other men look to them, and you look at their wives, bro, right? They look at their husbands like they've never seen a man before. It's like staring at a sunrise. Wow, right? And I was like, I want that more than anything else in the whole world. I want, and it only came from stop being a taker, stop being a little boy. You have to initiate yourself. And I didn't have other men. I didn't have other men initiate me until I lost everything. And then I surrounded myself and I found thousands of dollars I did not have and gave it to these men. And I was like, please initiate me, kick my ass.
Yeah.
And oh my God, they did. Hey, guess what, asshole? Everything in your life is your fault. What?
Yeah. Yeah. When you find, what's so funny is when you finally find the senseis and the mentors, they're most often they're like, okay, let's talk about the problem. I don't understand. You're holding up a mirror. Like I said, let's talk about the problem. And you're like, oh, wait, are you saying it's me? Yes.
Wait a second.
Fascinating. You are not just the problem, you are also the solution. So, and like you said, the the biggest change for me, and you mentioned it earlier, and I think it's worth, and it's a whole nother conversation about embodiment. It's, we sometimes throw words around and we know what we mean, but there's that thing of like,
Yeah,
if you know, you know. And the truth
yeah,
of the matter is that if you're walking around with a set of concepts in your head, but you cannot embody compassion, patience, love, and engender a presence that creates trust. Dude, the first time I ever heard a teacher say, no, 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 you actually can regulate and help regulate her nervous system by the way you breathe, the way you stand, and the way you move. My brain melted out my ear because I'm
mm,
thinking, no, isn't it the words I say? Isn't it like make eye contact and say the magic words that makes her feel okay? No, because you could say that and still have the situation go sideways and be fucked because your presence is off, because you're dysregulated and you bring that to the party. And I kept
yeah,
thinking, this is an art form. Like this whole thing of
yeah,
embodiment, you can't, so it was good when people started saying, well, this is a yogic practice. And you start going, oh, it's a practice. Yes. You
yeah,
continue to do this and you get better at it over time. And I love, I love this story and I love that. And, you and I could talk for hours and unpack so much more here, but for, for the guys that are listening, there's so much more available for you, and there's so much more that you have access to. And if you are at any area in your life, if you are at the dominoes level but you want to be at the baller level, you need to talk to Richard the Lionheart and get your shit together, guys. There's some place in your life right now, and I know because I'm listening and I'm being challenged and I'm on this path. And I'm like, you know what? There are other places I can be stepping up. There are other places I can be leaning in.
mm.
Tell the guys listening, bro, how to find you. I want to make sure that they're not missing out on your brilliance, your humor, and the wisdom that you're sharing. How can they find you? What's up for you? I know you're speaking
Yeah, of
soon,
course.
and I just want everybody to kind of have a way to connect and follow up and learn more.
Yeah, of course, man. I think you're right. At the risk of having this be 4 hours, I do want to wrap that up,
Go for
though,
it.
if I may.
Yeah, please.
Just essentially, all I ever wanted was for my parents to, like get along and love each other, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, what would have been Lord, what is the one thing that would have actually, you know, uh, helped? And the word is leadership,
Mm.
right? The word is leadership. And then it became and evolved to masculine leadership. Masculine is just the energy of containment, right? It is. Well, I love what Wineland says. John Wineland, right, the author of From the Core.
Yes,
He
yes.
and a brilliant men's coach that I admire a lot. He says, masculinity is a grounded transmission of unconditional love, right?
Mm.
And my father, like, he didn't have that ability to be a grounded transmission of unconditional love. And he didn't have a vision for us, right? He was doing the best that he could to make it to the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so, masculine leadership, and embodiment simply means to become the manifestation of an idea, right? So, you think about Superman is the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way. Batman is the embodiment of vengeance,
Mm.
right? Like justice. So embodiment, that's all that it means. It's changing how you think to match the idea in your head. I want to be the greatest version of myself. Okay, well, how does that version of you think? How does that version of you feel? What does that version of you say? What are the actions? How does that guy breathe?
Yes.
Right? That's all that embodiment is for anybody who's like, I get that he's fucking saying, what does what does that mean? Damn hippie and the goddamn woo-woo terms, all this coach speak. But
Need a glossary.
yeah, but masculine leadership was the thing that I wanted for my parents more than anything else. And that was the thing that I learned was that's what helped me get my kids back, right? That's what helped me get a home. That's what helped me create a coaching practice out of the trunk of my car. The initiation of lose everything, fall to my knees and beg forgiveness and go, all right, Lord, thy will be done, not my will be done.
Mhm.
And that was a big part of my journey of becoming a man is humility. It's like I don't have all the answers. I don't have any of the answers, but I know that my higher power does. And when I walk step by step with my higher power, then I am safe. And that safety then is what I have to give.
Yes.
And that's what I gave to my woman, my kids, to my clients, to you. And that is what you give to your woman.
Yes.
That's what everyone listening has the capacity to give to theirs, right? Starts there.
Yes, indeed.
Masculine leadership, right? Taking responsibility for the outcomes that I want and having that unconditional love and grounding into the earth, into the higher spirit, into our higher self,
Mhm.
into God. When you're grounded in God, you are the safest man in her life.
100%.
Period. So the way that so happy endings all about, and I'm excited for episode 2. Tune in for episode 2, everybody, because
Yeah,
I'm coming back
this
with
is to
Max.
be continued, and brother, thank you for bringing us home with that.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
that's so important. I mean, it's paramount, And happy endings, yes, but the work is real. So
Oh my God.
how do you want to wrap it up? Is there any last thoughts before we jump into how guys can find you? Because I don't want to shortchange anybody, and if you got something else that's hot, I want to give you a minute to share that.
I I think it would be a lot of fun to talk about the how.
Mm,
We talked a lot about the what,
yes, we did.
right? I think round 2, I mean, if this would be valuable to the guys, would definitely be
Oh my God.
the how. What is presence? Like, I get that you're talking about being present. What the fuck does that mean, Max?
Right.
Right?
Yeah. In fact, it's
Mm.
funny because one of the hallmarks of the work that you and I both do is, dude, guys want to know how, and show me how. Show me how.
Yeah.
You need a new alternator. Well, that's great. What the hell does that mean? Or you got to use XYZ software. Okay, how do I do that? You need to build a business. How do I do that? You need to come up with a way to communicate with her. How do I
Yeah.
do that? Yeah, answering the how, definitely part two, and we need to do that. I think that would help to close the gap from kind of giving guys the map to actually walking through the territory for themselves and figuring it out. How they own it
Yeah.
is going to look unique for each man, but giving them some concepts and then boiling it down into the practical. It's a pen, it's a wrench. It's not just some idea. So yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. I would leave with, without ever having to talk to you or I, start with The Masculine in Relationship, a book by G.S. Youngblood,
Yes, yes.
right? There's two books that I have all of my clients read, and the first one being The Masculine in Relationship. If you want to know the second one, tune into episode 2. You fucking anyways. So hashtag marketing, hashtag make them want more. Um,
Cliffhanger.
and as as far as how you can reach me, I mean, like my email is therestoredman@gmail.com, right? I rarely check it, but I'll check it more often now because I have a feeling that this has maybe touched some hearts. So let's see what's there. I'm also I'm on TikTok at Richard Lonsberry.
Mhm.
That's my handle. I'll go ahead and send that over to you. And also Facebook is where I put most of the gold that I have. And I like to treat my social media like it's an online course. Like if you just read the stuff and do what I say, like your marriage and your life will be changed forever.
Yeah, and it's
And
and
you
it's no
only
joke.
yeah. And like my one of my mentors, Bradley Grinnan, he said it's like having a cookbook is great, but it's nothing like cooking next to the chef.
Mm,
So if you want to put lighter fluid on top of your development and your journey of getting everything that you want in relationship as a man, then you hit me up. But for now, my socials are the fastest way of getting a result and seeing change in your life today.
beautiful. Thank you, brother. Pleasure, man. Pleasure. I love this conversation. We will do this again and we will dig into the how. Thanks so much for jumping in and just for being the light and the voice of wisdom and just being you, brother. I love you. Appreciate it.